Good morning, all participants, to this breakout session 4 of the 12th Asian Conference on Environmental Behaviour Studies. Do we have 7 participants there? The first presenter is Wambinti Rashid, and the presentation is on government values perception on the current practice of ecosystem service valuation in Malaysia.
So, Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. So my name is Wan Nur Ayuni Wan Abdul Rashid, and before that I also would like to acknowledge my team member, which are Dr. Junaina Muhammad and Nur Hastuti Kasumo from the Indonesia. So my topic presentation is government value perception on the current practice of ecosystem service valuation in Malaysia. So my content presentation is a background of research, followed with the aim or research objective, and then literature review, methodology, finding, discussion, and last one is conclusion. So let me begin with the background of this research. So according to DIVA and Report 2022 mentioned that the economist's responsibility during the evaluation process is to reconcile the ecosystem value according to their experience, the currency of data and procedure, and the market current condition. To get the accurate data and valid value of ecosystem service, the ecosystem value assessment is typically determined by the type of ecosystem itself, such as marine ecosystem service. So, according to the economists also, the valuation process is defined by the TEEB, which is Economics of Ecosystem and Biodiversity, involve 4 levels such as identifying, assessing the value, establishing and providing new service. However, the valuation practice is still lacking, and it is crucial to determine the ecosystem value, but somehow it's still lacking to practitioner to understand how to value and the technique used to value. So that this is important to examine the existing Malaysian practice at the ecosystem valuation by valuers, since government valuer is responsible to do a valuation for the public interest. So therefore, my objective of this study is to investigate valuation perception on the current practice of ecosystem service valuation in Malaysia on behalf of valuer, and this is significant because of it can integrate the environmental and development sector and optimize the overall value that resource of consumer obtain. So to understand more about my research, I would like to explain the technique used or the value to be assessed about the ecosystem service, such as if you can see this picture or this image, is about the fundamental tenet of ecosystem economic valuation, which are we focusing on the total economic value that consists of use value and non-use value. So for use value, we will calculate using direct use value and indirect use value, and then option value. And then for non-use value, we will get the data according to bequeath and existent value. So if you can see a second box or second picture at the right, at the left, there is an example of marine ecosystem service that will be valued using the categories. So as you can see, provision and service will be valued using indirect use, and then for regulated service for marine ecosystem we will value using direct use value, and then for the culture service also using indirect use value, and then for the supporting and habitat service using non-use value. So the best method used to discover all this value is using contingent valuation method. As you can see at the end of this board, that's all value assesses by using contingent valuation method. So this method, this is a best method because of this method used to alter the value and express the change of value to the monetary value. So I also would like to highlight the issue and challenging in valuing ecosystem service. So the issue and challenges is not readily quantified because of unavailable market, and second one is valuation practitioner may have limited of understanding on the circumstances and reality of policy making. And then another challenging is ecosystem services are not yet incorporated into decision making through incentive or price signal. So it's a bit challenging to the practitioner to value the ecosystem service itself. And then I would like to share with you all also the current law that practicing in Malaysia, such as a law. As you can see, we have law is a Fisheries Act 1996 and environment quality. Another procedure is a national policy with, for example, is national policy in environment 2002, and then a national policy on climate change. And another example of project that used to value or to encourage the awareness of valuation of ecosystem service is the economic of ecosystem and biodiversity itself, which is TEEB, and then this system of environment and economic accounting, SEEA. So to achieve this research objective or research finding, I conduct this research using a series of in-depth interview with experts in this valuation practice, which is they are professionally knowledgeable, experienced in this valuation practice. And then this interview session about 30 minutes to 1 hour to get their perception on the valuation itself. So you can see the list of respondents, and then for the finding, I can say that we get 4 major type of perception, categories of perception. So first one is current method and their weaknesses for the practitioner. So we can see here respondent 3 said that only 2 or 3 teams in Malaysia that special or expected in valuation ecosystem itself. This is limitation. Sorry,
Miss Rashid.
Yes.
You might have to move faster.
Okay.
You only have about 3 minutes left.
All right. So the finding from the interview, we have the current method and their weaknesses, and then this second finding about the perception is factor that influence the ecosystem value, such as the feasible of ecosystem different from every ecosystem, and then valuer readiness to new innovative method, and then current legal provision in economic valuation. So, for discussion, we cover about 3 type of which is the approach being employed, and its criticism of weaknesses, strength and weaknesses, and then ecosystem value influence the element of feasible of ecosystem service, and the consideration that should be considered when selecting for ecosystem valuation and legal provision regarding the economic valuation. So from this discussion, we can improve the more evidence-based assessment, and then standardize the policy for ecosystem valuation, and then the ecosystem framework can be improved to better support for decision making. And then for the conclusion, we can see that this ecosystem service valuation undoubtedly contribution to the national economic successful and highlight significant efficient ecosystem valuation technique. However, there's still a lack of technical expertise, so that it is important to carefully consider the valuation aim when creating a successful strategy to value the ecosystem service. So I think that's all from my presentation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that presentation. Sorry, we had to rush you because we're trying to keep within the time limit. Let's try as much as possible, you know, to spend just enough time for the presentation on the ecosystem service. If there's none, Ms. Rashid, I just want to ask you, people that do ecosystem service valuation, which profession, which academic area do they normally study?
The question is about which academic study related with the ecosystem service valuation, right?
Yes, yes.
So from my research area is for the real estate management, which is for the industry also related with the valuer that value value the ecosystem for the industry, and then for the academic, it's covered by the real estate management.
All right, it's actually real estate management field. Okay, that's interesting. Why did you decide to interview only 3 people?
I consider to interview just for valuer because of right now in Malaysia, the valuation practice doing by the valuer, but when I interview the valuer, they actually lack of knowledge how to value this ecosystem itself. But I think for the limitation or further future research, I can go to interview like economists that more knowledge about the valuation of economic ecosystem.
So sorry, I'm back. So sorry, my internet just went gaga. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I said, I'm sure that in North America and maybe Europe, there'll be a lot of ecosystem service valuation that's taking place. I hope you are able to connect your study to the evaluation methods in that. I hope you are able to connect your study to what is being done in Europe and America and all that.
Okay.
You are able to. All right. So are there any other questions for Ms. Rashid on this presentation from the audience? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you for that presentation. So what is the next level on this, your research? What do you want to do next? Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
What do you want to do next on your research?
I'm going to further my study about the element of ecosystem, focusing on marine ecosystem valuation. I will categorize the marine ecosystem service to do a valuation.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. So let's have the second presenter. THE001, authenticity and satisfaction, the role of government policy in Gonzu, homestay service quality.
Good afternoon, distinguished chairman, Prof, doctors, and every participant. My name is Chen Dai. I'm from China. My topic is authenticity and satisfaction, the role of government policies in terms of homestay services quality. In 2021, Chenzhou was listed in the World Heritage List. Unlike any other cities that are concentrated in a specific area, Chenzhou's 22 key historic sites are spread across the city. You can see this picture. The pink area is the heritage core areas, and the green area is the buffer areas, and the homestay is also in it. And in the early 2023, after the COVID-19 eased, overnight visitors in Chenzhou in homestays boomed, reached up to the 95% in 2023. And meanwhile, the number of the homestays accumulated about 600 beds in 2016, but nearly almost 1,000 beds in 2023. So based on this, we can see the problem. Potential negative impact of the homestay growth on heritage site perception and the tourist experience. Take example, tourist-related complaints reached 358, and most of them relate to place to stay. From the literature review, we can see that most of past studies is related to the World Heritage sites, such as the government policy and the homestay service quality. For government policy, it's focused on the regulatory framework and enforcement, incentive and support, infrastructure development, feedback mechanic. For the homestay services, always divided into two factors: tangible factors and intangible factors. For tangible factors, it includes the interior design, environmental condition. You can see that from the pictures. And for the intangible factors, refer to the reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy. These studies adapt the Heritage Tourist series, use the key concept, authenticity. This concept is always used in the past study, is focused on the core heritage area. So from this we can see the research gap. field study relate to the in the early stage of rapid development and collective impact, government policy, homestay service quality, and the tourist satisfaction in homestays on the heritage site. And for theory, field study relate the authenticity in buffer areas. What is the authenticity? Authenticity is about how tourists perceive the authenticity in the World Heritage Site, and how authenticity affects the tourist experience and satisfaction. So based on this, you can see the MIND conception framework maintain the 4 main variables and the 5 hypotheses. 4 main variables include the government policy, homestay services quality, include tactical factors and intactical factors. Finally, tourist satisfaction in homestays as dependent variables. This study used the cross-sectional quantitative study, and the population is overnight visitor in general homestay. And the sample size, final sample size is about 247 valid. And the data collection use 问卷星, which is very popular in China, and the data analyze use the SPS as the descriptive analyze, and the smart POS as the inferential analyze. Let's talk about finding. From this table, you can see that all the items, the cost factor loading is well above 0.7. It shows that the items is towards relationship towards the each variables. About table 2, reliability and validity. Compact alpha, low A, low C, ABE, HTMT. All the values it satisfies requirement. It shows these models have a good responsibility and validity. About the tables read R squared, F squared, and the PS predict. For R squared, you can see the values from this table. All the R squared is around 0.5, which are considered the good explanatory powers. For F squared, more detailed to test which variable have strong effect size towards the later variables. We can see that except one variable, that is the GP towards the TSH, that effect size is not satisfied. Another one is from the median and to the large. Finally, is the PS predict. It shows that this model have a good predictive abilities. Last but not least, you can see that the pass coefficients. From this table, you can see that 4 of 5 hypotheses, the result is support. Only one is reject. It's from the government policy toward to the tourist satisfaction home state. Later is the discussion. Firstly, is impact of the government policies. From finding, we can know that there's a strong relationship from the policy government towards the homestay service quality. It means that any other work heritages similar to the channel content that can effective and swift policy making is a very crucial for the development, protection, and the development of the heritage sites. In addition, about homestay service quality and the tourist satisfaction also have a strong relationship from one to another. In addition, these studies refines the views that tourists preferred. Tourists prefer that the traditional architecture design and clean environment. From another side, for the intelligent factors, high valued the responsiveness and empathy. For the theory, the loss of the empathicity in heritage tourists is not only important in the cold heritage area, but also in the buffer areas referred to the home state. You can just imagine that you can live and enjoy the life like the local people, enhance your authenticity about the World Heritage Site. About the conclusions, even though this research extends maybe some field of the study, but there are still a big limitations, such as it didn't analyze the further moderators such as an age and gender type of the tourist groups. About our future studies, even though that this study noticed that some homestay owners prefer to add additional service, such like the welding the hair flowers, local food, to enhance the tourist authenticity and experience. But the more and more homestay owners choose to self-services. Is that when you are booking the homestay in the travel apps, you will receive the message that the homestay owners added in advance about the location, entry password, so there's no need and no chance face-to-face to interaction between the guests and the operators. This will raise the question that impacts on authenticity for a homestay in the World Heritage Sites. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Chen, thank you for that presentation. And the first thing I want to ask is, when Konsu was put on the heritage list, what were the major highlights, the reasons? I mean, the authenticity that you mentioned. What were the authentic things, reasons that made them to put Konsu on the heritage list? The important things about Konsu.
Abroad is that it means when the Chengdu China is joined in the World Heritage Site, or about my study?
No. What I'm saying is just by the way. I know your study is about homestay. You know, I'm saying that when Konsu was put on the heritage list, right? Is it about the cultural factor or the planning of the city? What are the reasons?
Actually, Chengdu City is the seaload of the in China. So this is what heritage control is include the 22 key historic sites is just spread across the city. It's mainly attractions, including something historic buildings, temples, religions buildings, and like the mountains, resort, and other resorts.
All right. So it has a mixed thing of the Chinese history in terms of building, way of life, culture, the physical environment, and everything, you know, that's included.
Yeah, actually, not only Chinese, because in the ancient China, Chengdu is a port. So they also include another countries' religions, like the Muslim and another one that's, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, what is your most significant finding in this research?
Actually, I just showed a finding and discussion is that I found that in the past studies, more literature is used the theory about authenticity is referred to the what called heritage sites, but the homestay actually is in the buffered areas, and this area is around the cold heritage sites. But the Chengdu government also asked the homestay, asked the building in this area need to protection and to keep maybe the cannot strictly to rebuild. So some building here can keep the very good buildings flavor.
All right. As part of these homestays, as they are spreading around the heritage center, are there policies for controlling their design and form and all that? Government policies?
Yes.
Okay, there are. All right, the participants, do you have questions or contributions for this presentation? I know that you already mentioned the future study that you want to do in this area. Are there questions? All right.
Hi, Prof. Prof. You man. Nice to see you again. All right. Nice to see you. Yeah. Okay, I've never been to China, and I'm very curious, and I've got lots of questions to ask you actually.
Okay.
So that's why we are so eager to organize a conference with Mr. Sun. Probably will be doing it at some Our potential co-host is already here, so hopefully we can arrange some sort of conference. Anyway, back to you. Really curious about first of all, about the local context of the tourism. It's more of a domestic or international that goes to the homestay.
Sorry, pardon?
The homestay, who stays there? Is it the local domestic or international people that goes to the homestay?
Actually now most of the tourists is from China.
So it's more of domestic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, regarding the historical side, how long backdated in terms of history? I mean, how long in terms of years the building, the historical building, backdated for how old is the historical site?
How old is the site? Actually, the oldest historic is about over 1,000 years. Actually, it's I just show the covers the temple.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's quite a general question because I'm very curious about it. So typically in China, when you talk about historical heritage, you are talking about more than 1,000 years of the age of the building, is it? Correct? More than 1,000 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing was regarding the popularity of the homestay. Backdated, when was it popularized? Homestay. Only. Only a homestay. Meaning, I've got a homestay.
Yeah.
The popularity. How soon was it? Was it what? More recent or backdated? 10, 20 years ago, the popularity of homestays.
Is that you means how to how to put the home date in?
No. How old is the homestay?
How old about home date?
10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or is it more recent?
Actually, it really depends because some areas is very close to the heritage area, and the China government many years is begin to protect this area. So this area building is much more ancient. Some of them is about maybe 100 years. Homestay.
No. Homestay has been there for more than 100 years. Homestay?
Just
the concept.
Just some of them. Yeah, I see. Homestay. Yeah, but a few. Most of them actually, I guess, is around 20 years to about 60 years. 20 years to 60 years. Yeah.
And just one last question. Following our breakout chair question regarding regulating.
Yeah.
So the government has regulations. If I want to make but for homestay, there is regulation that you follow.
Yeah.
That there is certain policy.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, there are some policies for owners. Just I mentioned that because some old building, they enough older, so that and also government wants the homestay owners to not rebuild. So some of them had already very dangerous. So for government, they will add some financial support for them to build and to keep them safety.
Sorry, one aspect.
Okay.
How open is the booking system? Is it available in Airbnb, for example, or booking.com, or is it closed system?
Booking system, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's very popular in China. It's like many apps because you know that homestays compared with the hotels is that cannot be have no money to let everyone know that. So you only can book it most of the time. Only can book it by the app. And
right.
Yeah.
When I mention app, because certain apps, it's not available in China, isn't it? Because it's quite protective.
Yes.
Let's say if I'm from Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
Can I use booking.com to book the homestay there?
Yes, actually.
Again.
Can. In China, more than at least 10 apps can book the homestay.
The international apps.
Yes, international app.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
So, thank you very much for that presentation on heritage, homestay, heritage in China. And, matters of heritage, they are very critical, yes. Because everything that goes on around the heritage center has to be really controlled by government in terms of policy. So that's why there's so much question about policies and how people are able to access the heritage center without really disturbing the authenticity of or the significance of the heritage center itself. So thank you for that presentation. Let's let you go. The conversation can continue after the session. So let's take the next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Chengdu. Enjoy the homestay and experience the authenticity.
All right, let's take the next presenter, THE002.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Prof. Dr. Babatunde. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon to all professors, doctors, and my lovely participants. Ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed to the presentation, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Nurhayati Mat Yusof, alias Muhammad Yusof, from Universiti Putra Malaysia, and together with my colleagues, Mr. Agus Sudono, from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, we'll be sharing our research titled Determinant of Career Intention in Malaysia Hospitality Industry for Hearing Disabled Youth. This is all my team member. As introduction, in Malaysia, youth with disability also were given education opportunities as the effort and support from the government in various relevant training. According to Yusof 2013 and Adnan 2020, people with disability were equipped with skills needed, particularly in the hotel and food and beverage industry. As we can see, Polytechnic and Community College has given mandate to run the special program since 2000, which focusing on the youth with hearing disability as this group found suitable for employment in the hospitality industry. And this is in line with 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals, number 4, which improving the right of person with disability, referring to inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning. According to Department of Polytechnic and Community College 2021, there's about 633 graduates in hospitality program, and from the graph shows here, the intake of student increase from 2017 to 2021, as we can see from the graph here. And despite this opportunity given to this group, there are still some constraints faced by these disabled groups pursue their career in hospitality industry. It is proven only 35.7% of graduates work directly in hospitality industry by Zahari 2010. Setting a clear intention is a powerful way to support student career growth, and lacking a clear understanding of the working environment and the link between antecedents, student interest has influenced their intention to join the industry. Although few studies conducted on students without disability found that they have unfavorable attitudes to join or working in hospitality industry because of low wages, working shift, so much pressure, and work-life balance, Sharif 2018 and Zahari 2017. But several studies conducted by Islam 2018, Zahari 2016, and Chang 2021 stated that most of people with disability are loyal and committed in the workforce. As this study focusing on students with hearing disability, they may not have high expectation of their career intention. Therefore, this study have 3 questions. Number 1, what is the determinant influence career intention for students with hearing disability in hospitality industry? What is the perception of students with hearing disability towards characteristics of the hospitality industry? And does self-efficacy influence the career intention of students with hearing disability in the hospitality industry, and lead to 2 hypotheses. Hypothesis 1, there is relationship between perceived industry characteristic and career intention among students with hearing disability in hospitality industry. Hypothesis 2, there is relationship between self-efficacy and career intention among students with hearing disability in hospitality industry. So I move to literature review. According to Robinson, so this is I will cover people with disability, hospital workforce, characteristic of hospitality industry, self-efficacy, and characteristic of hospitality industry and self-efficacy is found as a determinant that lead to career intention of students with hearing disability in hospitality industry. So, as definition of people with disability, Robinson and Butler 2012, people with disability are those who have impairment or lacking in terms of communication, learning, physical, cerebral palsy, visual, and etc. It is believed that there are many challenges faced by youth with disability to enter the hospitality industry workforce. In terms of characteristics of hospitality industry found, as I mentioned earlier, Ahmad et al. 2021, Chuang and Junking 2010, the nature of work in hospitality industry as a physical working condition, pay benefit, and co-workers influence the student career intention when they undergo the internship. So on self-efficacy, according to Bandura 1977, self-efficacy is a person's ability to carry out a strategy future scenario that determines set of belief, and this is one of the determinants that lead to the career extension in hospitality industry.
Ms. Yusuf, maybe you should move on to methodology.
Okay.
And findings.
Okay, for methodology, for this study, I'm using quantitative method. Considering that the students' difficulty to express their opinion, self-administered questionnaire that translated from English to Malay, and it have 3 sections. One is section A, demographic profile. Section B will cover on perceived industry characteristics and self-efficacy, and section C will cover on career intention. And before distributing the self-administered questionnaire, the researcher contacted the director officer for each institution. There are 4 institutions included involved in this study is Polytechnic Arau, Polytechnic Johor Bahru, Polytechnic Kuala Kinabalu, and College Community Selayang. Because of these 4 institutions selected, due to this, the only 4 institutions higher learning that provide the special program for youth with hearing disability. And for this study, the researcher using homogeneous purposes sampling, out of 182 total number of students, only 175 provide a complete questionnaire. And for this study, because of dealing with students with hearing disability, the researcher get the help from sign language translator to ease the data collection process. And the data collection process done in March 2023 until May 2023. Data analysis, the study using SPSS version 28. The analysis is for descriptive statistics and Pearson correlation coefficient.
You only have 2 minutes more.
I will pass to Mr. Agus Sudono for the next session.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yati, for the time. And I will continue the presentation to results section. And in this slide, there is no clear gender differences among 175 respondents, with 89 female students and 86 male students. And the range of most respondents was 18 to 20 is 80%, and followed by 21 to 23, 95%. Regarding student background, higher learning institution, Johor Bahru Polytechnic accounted for 22.3%, and Arau Polytechnic for 30.9%, and then Kota Kinabalu Polytechnic for 25.7%, and the last Layang Community College for 21.1%. The majority of respondents in the program of study for the student came from the domain of certificates in hotel and catering with 76%, followed by basic culinary with 15.4%, and basic pastry with 8.6%. And regarding prior work experience, 45.6% had no previous employment history, and 55.4% had worked for less than 2 years. Next slide. Okay. Mean score section. The range of mean score for the perceived industry characteristic was 5.46 to 5.71, suggesting that while most respondents found the hospitality workforce exciting and offered a decent wage and a clean working environment, they also found the job exhausting. Respondents also agreed with all four self-efficacy measures, with mean values ranging from 5.21 to 5.77. Despite the possibility of difficulty, they anticipate doing well in the field and securing a place in the hospitality workforce. Regarding intention, most respondents said they would most likely work in hospitality organizations and plan to pursue careers in the field. Next. Hypothesis testing, the Pearson product moment correlation analysis described the direction and intensity of the linear relationship between the variables of interest concerning the two proposed hypotheses. The table shows the analysis output of the hypothesis towards their intention. There is a strong correlation was found between perceived industry characteristic and career intention, with R value 0.611. This value explains that 61.1% of student career intention have a significant relationship with perceived industry characteristic in the hospitality industry. And like self-efficacy, there was also a positive correlation between self-efficacy and career intention. This value clarified that 74.2% of students' career intention are significantly related to their self-efficacy towards the hospitality industry.
All right, can you conclude now?
Okay. The conclusion, as a conclusion from the discoveries of this wonder and what we have been talking about, we can conclude that the first one, understanding of how students with hearing inabilities change industry characteristic seems influence their career purposeful in hospitality industry. The second, the viability were unequivocally related with their deliberate to connect within the hospitality workforce with the skill and capacity given to this specific youth gatherer. They can be advertise the opportunity to contribute to the country's economy by joining the workforce. The third, positive finding may give a few suggestions for industry specialists. Contracting this bunch may offer assistance to the industry overcome the tall work turnover and labor efficiency that proceeds in eating and lodging. And the last one, collaborative endeavors between hospitality institution, practitioners, and the Ministry of Human Resources, giving rise to openings in instruction and business and controlling unfair honest, particularly against graduates with hearing incapacities and can be accomplished. Thank you. That's all of my presentation.
All right. Thank you for that co-presentation from Malaysia and Indonesia. So the other participants, do you have questions or contributions for them? I have a fast question. What's the proportion of the hearing disabled in both Malaysia and Indonesia that work in the hospitality industry? You know, when you take the total workforce in the hospitality industry, like what percentage is hearing disabled in Malaysia, for example?
10%, Prof. For Malaysia, 10%.
10%. How about in Indonesia?
I think we don't have an exact number, but perhaps like Malaysia, perhaps, or below that.
All right. All right. So what's the next level in this research?
Okay, actually this is half of my research, and there are some another variables, that is challenges and barriers that we found because they have communication barriers and outcome expectation and also the interest. This is 3 variables that also found based on literature review that have influenced the accreditation for students with hearing disability. And I also conducted interview, but this is focusing on different respondents, that is their parents of the students, their lecturers, the managers that hire the graduates, and also the graduate itself. So we look at the challenges, the motivation factors, and also their strategies. What are the strategies in order to be part in the hospitality workforce?
Okay, fantastic. Mrs. Mohammed and Mr. Sudono, thank you for that presentation.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
So let's take the next presentation. THE003. Issue arising in short-term rental accommodation. A systematic literature review.
Okay. Good evening to all of you in this room and to Professor Dr. Babatunde. Okay, my name is. Okay.
You have 10 minutes.
Okay, clear. My name is Nurul Abdul Aziz, and I'm the main co-author, the main author and the only presenter. And other than me is Dr. Asma Cik Rasim from UiTM Sri Iskandar Perak, and the international author is Tika Indiria from Universiti Islam Sumatera, Indonesia. Okay, as a background of study, okay, we focus to the term of short-term rental accommodation. So as a definition, refer to the tenant who rent out the residential property for a short term. Short term can be a single night, a week, or several months. The STRA is a business venture which residential property owner manage short-term rental and promote their homes using online marketplace, for example, Airbnb, Booking.com, and Agoda. Okay, cheaper cost than hotel, increased community economic business opportunity is among the factors influence the high demand of STRA. According to the Airbnb 2013, Airbnb is a trusted community marketplace for people to lease, discover, and book unique accommodation worldwide. Okay, we focus to the objective of study. Okay, for the objective of study, we intend to identify the problem arising from the operation of short-term rental accommodation in general perspective. Okay, so this is our literature review. A part of the benefit of short-term rental accommodation that I mentioned before, STRA operation have presented problem and difficulty. Okay, as we can see the picture displayed in the current slide, the first picture is one condominium located in Ipoh, Perak, namely the Cove Hillside Condominium. Okay, the issue arising in condominium, the resident of this property not allowed guests from Airbnb to enter the property. So what the banner of the objection mentioned no homestay, no Airbnb, hang on balcony to show their objection towards the Airbnb operation in the property. Okay, and the second picture, screenshot from the newspaper online, Penang bans short-term rentals such as Airbnb and homestay in all residential property. That means local authority from the Pulau Penang not allow operation of Airbnb in any residential property. Okay, continue with the, still under literature review. This is the summary of literature review carried out for this study. So for example, journal article from Petruzzi et al. In year 2020 highlight 4 issues arising from SDRA operation, which are changes in social cultural level, nuisance to the neighborhood, increase the property price, and environmental pollution. Okay, this is the summary of literature review. Okay, for the research methodology, in order to achieve the objective of this study, okay, we carry out, we're using systematic literature review, and we're using systematic literature review and Prisma model was applied in this study. Okay, in this model, there are 3 main stages. The first stage is about identification. We identify the journal article from database, corpus, and Web of Science, which is these 2 databases most widely used for academic research. And then as the result, okay, a total 3,835 journal articles was identified. Okay, after that, we carry out screening stage. Okay, in screening stage, we only focus on the, we only filter, okay, the article in various criteria. For example, we only focus journal article from empirical study, and then we focus on the article from English language, and in terms of timeline, we focus on article from 5 years back. Okay, so the last stage is included. Okay, from the in this stage, only 17 articles we use, okay, to achieve the objective of this study. Okay, that means the 70 articles fulfill our criteria. Okay, this is our research finding. Okay, the research finding shows we identified the 15 problem arising in short-term rental accommodation, and then because of the limitation of time, I only can explain more about only 2 problem arising. Okay, so the safety issues. Okay, in short-term rental accommodation, the safety issues highlighted refer to the issue security and privacy of the resident in neighborhood when ABNB operate in the residential property. Other than that, property damage result of the frequent turnover of gas, misuse of personal information and gas by using online platform. Okay, that is the explanation for safety issues. Okay, continue with the issue arising from SDRA operation. Okay, the issue nuisance to the neighborhood. Okay, nuisance to the neighborhood refer to the, based on the literature review. Okay, for example, highlight by article from Petruzzi et al. 2020. Nuisance to neighborhood refer to the when ABNB operation in residential area contribute to the crowding in the neighborhood and also lead to the competition to use common property, and also, for example, common property normally in residential high rise, for example, swimming pool, parking space, gym. Okay, when ABNB operate in residential high rise, guests and residents need to share the facilities. Okay, and then other than that, increased number of guests, especially during peak season, for example, public holidays, contribute to the rise in noise complaint from the resident. Okay, discussion of study. We highlight 3 further discussion. Number 1, we can use more journal for future research, okay, to identify more short-term rental accommodation problems. Second, examine the problem arising from different perspective of stakeholder. In STRA operation, in STRA industry, the stakeholder involved such as host refer to the owner of the property, tourist, resident, local authority and management corporation who manage the high-rise residential. Okay, the third, examine the problem arising according to each segmentation. That means the list of problem arising we can categorized into three types of sustainable concept. For example, the problem arising based on environmental category, social category, and economic category. Okay. So the last one is conclusion of the study. Okay. To conclude, the finding given by the previous study can guide policy makers, okay, to strategize their effort to improvise, to shape opinion or to create, implement changes to ensure that Airbnb operation can present positively impact to all the stakeholders. Okay, that's all from me.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Abdulaziz. That was exactly 10 minutes. Interesting. So, for this study on short term, if you go back to your literature review slide, there were two factors that are there that that were not marked. No, not this one, the next one. There is number one, discrimination issues. There's no marking on it. And there's another one, losing authenticity and traditions. There's no author that marked it, that you got that from. How did you arrive at those problems arising, the two of them?
The problem arising, number one, discrimination issue, and
yes, the second one is number 11, losing authenticity and traditions. Okay, don't worry. I just wanted to make you realize that you didn't mark anything on it. I wanted to know whether you got those points, maybe from other literature that are not here or outside of the literature. But it's okay. You will correct it or find out what it's like. Then short-term accommodation. How prevalent is it? That is, do you have so much of it now? Is it very common?
Okay, in short-term rental in Malaysia is a famous industry in tourism. For example, KL Kuala Lumpur record the highest STRA operation in Malaysia.
Okay. In terms of your future research, I see you're going to look at it from the viewpoint of many stakeholders, much later. Are you going to, what kind of methods are you going to be using? Is it going to be still review, or this time you're going to be moving on to some form of data collection? Either what if you are moving, are you going to do some data collection?
Okay, to achieve the second point, examine the problem arising from different perspectives according to the different stakeholder. Maybe I can still use as a systematic literature review and questionnaire.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the way you have put the future research it seems that there's so much to still do in terms of reviews. I hope that sometime you will move on to actually collecting data on them and then determine whether you're going to be using qualitative or quantitative or mixed methods to collect the data. Any other comments from other participants? Or questions or advice? Okay.
Hello, Ms. Abdul Aziz. I'm Shafika. I would like to ask you, what is the significance of your study? Thank you.
Okay, good question. What is the significance of this study? Why we carry out this study? Because of the issue of Airbnb in Malaysia, especially. Okay, it's the hot issue. Okay, at the same time, Airbnb gives more benefit to the economy, especially. So we try to identify the problem arising and try to develop the best practice that can apply in SDRE operation, so that even though we cannot solve the issue 100%, but we can maybe reduce the risk or the negative impact of the SDRE operation in residential. That is my answer.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other contributions or questions? Yeah, okay. All right. I think the question you were asked is actually good, because eventually when you start to take different stakeholders, the host, the tourists, the residents, the authorities, the management corporations, there will be different conclusions about what is important for each of those stakeholders, not just general policy. You know, there has to be pinpointed conclusions for each stakeholder that you do a review on. That's very important. You know, not just policies alone. All right, thank you very much for that presentation.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Prof.
Yeah. Let's take the next presenter. The paper is WE002.
Testing. Okay, thank you, Prof. Dr. Babatunde, for welcoming me to and allowing me to continue with the presentation for this evening. So before I start, I just would like to give a familiar phrase for everyone here, which is sharing is caring. So I think everyone is very familiar with the phrase, right? But in the context of nursing practice, sharing and caring meaning that when a nurse is able to share the painful experience, sharing the information, and also to share all the strategies on how to cope with the disease or any medical conditions. So I'm Nordiana. Today I'll be presenting our concept paper on behalf of my colleagues here with Dr. Zainab Muhammad Shafi'i, Dr. Siti Huzaimah Ahmad Sharoni, and our colleague from Indonesia, Ms. Ingriani Puspita Devi, but unfortunately they are not able to present here today. So I'll be the sole presenter for this session. So the topic of our concept paper is enhancing the professional caring behavior of nurses, the module development protocol. So to start with, okay, first and foremost, I think there is no doubt about the complexity of our healthcare system, as we are still having more and more number of population, increase in the dynamicity of the healthcare populations, increased demands, the technological advancement, and also how uncertain disease could be in certain times, such as during the COVID-19 era. Plus, I think we need to also ponder on how actually the care recipient receive or expect on the professional caring behavior of nurses, and also how nurses in particular perceive their caring behavior towards the patients and also those care recipients. Even though literature has stated that caring is something that is already inside one individual, which is known as what we call as instilled kind of caring behavior, but this is still considered as an acquired skill that needs to be learned, and this is a very significant element for a nurse to become a professional nurse. Okay, so by delving, scrutinizing this issue from the root, we hope that our study protocol would help the national policy in moving forwards to manage with the equality and also help well-being of all individuals in the world, and in particular in Malaysia. Okay, the aim of our study is to explore the nursing caring behavior from multiple perspectives, where we are going to look into the perspective of patients, relative, other healthcare providers such as doctors and all other healthcare providers, including the nurses. And from that, we will develop a caring module to enhance the professional caring behavior of our nurses. So we use this AcE model, which consists of the analysis of needs, design and development, implementation, and also evaluation, that will be conducted in 3 different phases. So from our review have provided us with the insight that there is multiple definitions of caring. There are some caring theories that should be adapted by our nurses to exercise caring in their professional practice. And also there are efforts from nursing scholars to measure caring by quantitative and also qualitative effort. And there was some incongruent caring perceptions in between patients and also nurses as the care providers. And we identified some factors which may affect the caring behavior of nurses, which includes the workloads, working environment, even the patient attitude. Same goes to the nurse's attitude. And we also identified some studies that have proved that some educational intervention may help the nurses to enhance their professional caring behavior. So during phase 1, this is the phase of analysis of needs, which will be conducted in a qualitative approach using focus group discussion. We focus on 4 regional centers in Malaysia, and we focus on the population, the heterogeneous population, so that we can retrieve the information by focus group discussion with diverse perspective from the patients relatives, other healthcare providers, and also nurses. And we will choose them using the purposive sampling, and we will conduct the focus group discussion using semi-structured interview. And then later on, we will analyze using the thematic analysis with Environment-Behaviour software. So basically, from this simple diagram that we can see here, okay, out of 4 major hospitals or the regional centers, we will have basically 4 different groups which will be conducted in each centers, and we will have approximately about 24 groups altogether. 4 times 4, 16 groups altogether, and later on the analysis and finding will serve as the basis for our phase 2, which is the design and development of our caring module. So in the design and development, from the finding in phase 2, we will create based on what perceived nursing caring behavior that we have discovered, and we will try to identify the barriers, the challenges, and as well as the preferred method for the module with the integration of constructivism theory, since our nurses are those practicing nurses and they have already developed their professional behavior, and we will use our expert sampling to search for their expertise and also to validate the content of our caring module. And during phase 3, what we are going to do is, okay, we will identify the sample, and based on the previous study which implemented the similar AcE model, so we will identify the similar sample from the similar 4 regional centers which using purposive sampling, we will obtain 122 nurses, and we will brief and teach them on how to use the module in the module application, and later on, we will collect the data, which we will identify the change of the behavior using the caring behavior inventory CBI-24, and also to measure the effectiveness of the module that we have created by using a cost evaluation questionnaire. And last but not least, we will come up with the analysis and reporting. So for the results and discussion, since there is a concept paper and there is no results yet, but we expected some of the results based on different phases. So we will identify the facilitators, the barriers, the challenges, and also the constraint in phase 1, which these will determine the learning requirement and the teaching methods that we want to engage in our phase 2. Okay, so this table 1 will give an overview of the thematic analysis for phase 1. And during phase 2, which is the module development, okay, other than the constructivist learning theory, we also intend to implement the Watson human caring theory as a part of the content of this module. And during phase 3, what you're going to do is to trial run the module and to measure the module effectiveness with the caring behavior inventory and also the cost evaluation questionnaire. So last but not least, for the discussion, we hope that our study protocol will provide the insights into the caring behavior of our nurses. We may find the variation in caring perception because we have heterogeneous population, and we really hope that because it has been proven in many literature that the educational intervention may improve the patient satisfaction and also can improve the care quality of the patient. And last but not least, with the integration of Watson human care theory, this may also improve patient perception because in this theory, it emphasizes on the human well-being and also the human interaction in between the patient and also the nurses. So as for the conclusion, as you know, nurses consist as the most vulnerable group in our healthcare system. Okay, by having this study protocol, this may provide a valuable insight for informing our national policies and can help with our national policies for the national healthcare stabilities and can also assist our nursing education, the Ministry for Future Education and Training requirement for our nurses, inshallah. With that, these are the authors for this study protocol. Thank you. I welcome for any question.
All right, thank you very much. Is it Dr. Sima for that animated PowerPoint and animated presentation? It took exactly 10 minutes, just like the last one, which is very good. Now, do we have any questions or comments or contributions? This module development seemed to be a very ambitious project.
We are actually in our phase 2, Prof, currently.
Okay, you're on phase 2
yes.
of the module.
And just now is only the study protocol.
All right. And I just want to ask, you talked about a caring behavior inventory 24.
Yeah.
Is that the only kind of caring inventory that's available?
No, actually we have numerous tools, but the intervention that have been using the similar instrument to measure caring related to the Watson human caring theory is the caring behavior inventory.
Okay, that's why you chose that particular one.
Yes, Prof.
All right, that's interesting. You talked about a constructivist theory too, being used in that constructivism theory, and you tried to justify it in one half sentence. Can you explain better? why you are using constructivism?
Okay, sorry, Prof. Because actually we are looking into those practicing nurses. It's not the student nurses. So those nurses who have been practicing and they have already developed their experience of caring with their patients. So by applying this constructivism theory, they can actually develop what they have in past to enhance their caring behavior in future.
Okay. I know that nurses have various qualifications. According to your paper, I think you have diploma, you have bachelor's, and you have other levels. So how are you going to choose the proportion of people that will be involved eventually in the other phase?
Sorry, Prof. Basically, in our setting, in our Ministry of Health setting, most nurses are with diploma qualification. After their certain years of practice, then only they will continue their study with the Bachelor of Nursing. But most of them will come with diploma qualification. So basically, from our first phase, all the nurses involved are those with diploma qualification.
Okay, and with so many years of experience, you said minimum 10 or something like that.
Sorry, Prof?
You said with minimum 10 years of experience.
With minimum 10 years, I don't mention anywhere here, Prof.
Okay, you didn't mention minimum.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to think ahead about how difficult it will be for you to sample the nursing population, you know, in terms of what factors of inclusion.
Yes, because in the study, we included all those nurses with the diploma qualification with at least 5 years of working experience, because in the banner expert theory, 5 years of working experience is already considered an expert in nursing.
All right. Do we still have any questions from the audience or contributions to this module development to enhance the caring, the professional caring of nurses, which is so important in the health sector? All right, if there are no more questions, I like the PowerPoint. You know, the way it was just coming up at the right time.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Assalamualaikum.
So we take the next presenter.
Can we start, Doctor?
Yes, you have 10 minutes.
Yep, great. Thank you very much. So have a good day, everyone. So Indonesia now is going to evening. So my name is Suryanto. I'm coming from the Faculty of Health Sciences, Universitas Brawijaya, Indonesia. On behalf of my co-authors, Nur Haini Majid from the Universiti Teknologi MARA, Malaysia, and also my college, Muhammad Akmal Muhammad Roslan, from Hospital Sultan Ismail Johor Bahru, Malaysia. So today we would like to present our research project titled Factors Contributing to Burnout Among Nurses in Malaysia Public Hospital. Slide. So as an introduction, we are as a nurses experiences a lot of kind of like a burnout within our work in hospital and also in clinical situation. In nursing, burnout means that emotional exhaustion and depersonalization and decrease of personal achievement related with the work. And as I mentioned before, that we are as a nurses experiences burnout. The number is quite high, from 10 until 24.4% based on the previous study. And based on the previous study, I also mentioned that the demographic characteristic, including age, mental status, and shift work, has been found influence probability experiences in a burnout among nurses. And this research focusing in exploring what's actually in the relationship between demographic factors related to the burning out among nurses in Malaysia public hospital. Slide. So in terms of problem statement, based on the previous study that the various demographic characteristics, including age, mental status, and shift work, has been found influence the probability of experiencing burnout. And it has been explored and found that the turnover per unit and increase in emotional intelligence is really related with the how nurses experience burnout and also organizational turnover in study by Kelly et al. 2021. However, there's not really many research in investigating what's actually in the deep analysis of the demographic characteristic influencing the burnout among nurses, especially in the Malaysian setting. So that's why we investigated the relationship between demographic characteristic with the burning out among nurses in Malaysian setting. Next. And the methodology of the research, this was the cross-sectional and quantitative designs involving one hospital called Hospital Sultan Ismail HSI in Johor Bahru. And the participants of the study were nurses working in HSI Johor Bahru, with the population in total was 600 nurses. Using the confidence sampling, 295 nurses participate in the study with the response rate 100%. The ethical approval we got from the UITM Research Ethics Committee and National Medical Research Registry. For the tools or instruments that we are using in this research, we have 3 instruments. The first one is the demographic characteristic questionnaire, and to investigate the workload, we use the NASA TLX Workout Inventory, and also we use CBI, the Copenhagen Burnout Inventory. For the analysis, we have the descriptive statistic, and also we have one-way ANOVA to analyze the data that we got from the participants. And now move to the result and discussions. I will pass to my colleague, Akmal. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Suryanto.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Suryanto.
So we proceed with the result and discussion. For this study, the nurses that are involved are 69.8% of female nurses with working experience from 5 to 10 years, and most of them have a diploma level of education. For the working department, most of the respondents were from anesthesiology and also the operation center. So this is the burnout level of nurses in Malaysian public hospital setting. There is about 50.4% of nurses scores as average burnout level, while 16.6 scores below average burnout level in the Malaysian public hospital setting. But the concerning issue here is there's an alarming amount of 33% of group of nurses that scores as above average burnout level, which is worrying for the nursing community. So we move to our result for our objective. Let us first go through the relationship between gender and the level of burnout among nurses public hospital. In our study, we found that the correlation between gender and burnout is about 0.97 with a p-value of 0.096. This suggests a positive relationship between gender and burnout, although it is not statistically significant at the level of 0.05. Moving to the education level, the correlation between education level and burnout is about 0.014 with a p-value of 0.805. This indicates a very positive relationship that is not statistically significant at the level of 0.05. Education level did not show a significant correlation with burnout in our analysis. This contrasts with the study suggesting that a higher level of education may act as the corrective factors against burnout. This is according to Suzuki in the year 2021. However, our finding indicates the education level may not be a significant predictor to burnout in nurses in a Malaysian public setting. Moving to the next demographic factor, which is working experience, the correlation between working experience and burnout is 0.119 with a p-value of 0.42. This suggests a positive relationship between working experience and burnout, but it is not statistically significant at the level of 0.5. Working experience shows a positive correlation with burnout, but was not statistically significant in our study. But in another study conducted by Breakout in the year 2022, indicating that long working experience may lead to an increase of burnout due to factors like cognitive stress. Lastly, our analysis delved into the working department and burnout analysis. The correlation between working department and burnout is around 0.70 with a p-value of 0.003. This indicates a moderate positive relationship between working department and burnout that is statistically significant at the level of 0.01. Working department and burnout shows a positive correlation, both moderate and statistically significant. This is important because one is the factors influencing burnout analysis. Research has shown that factors and organism culture can vary between department impact and burnout rates. This is what we do in the year 2022. Analysis in diverse department may focus workload level and stress potentially increase the burnout, for instance. So according to Konatos in 2020, staffing.
Mr. Roslan,
yes.
have 2 minutes more.
According to Konatos in the year 2020, staffing activity and job demands within the defense department influence the preference of burnout analysis. Therefore, understanding these department-specific factors and addressing burnout and promoting well-being is important analysis committee. So, demographic factors such as gender and education level, working experience, and working department significantly influence burnout analysis. Understanding these demographic factors is crucial for developing targeted intervention and support strategies to mitigate burnout and overall well-being of nursing professionals in Malaysia. So that's all for today. I'm open for questions on the floor.
All right, thank you very much for that cool presentation by Mr. Roland and Mr. Sorianto from Indonesia. So that's really very interesting. Do we have any questions for them? Because I know there are nurses in the house there. Maybe they have questions on this paper, but let me kickstart it by asking, why did you decide on convenience sampling?
Thank you, Prof, for the question. We use convenience sampling because most of the nurses are quite busy. So by distributing it equally, it's much more easier for the research to collect the data from the samples.
Okay. And then I know that part of the factors you considered were working experience and work department. Does this work experience, does it account for having gone through different shifts within some particular time or duration?
For your information, most of the nurses in the clinical settings are working in shift hours. Therefore, the departments that are involved in these studies, the nurses are still working in shift. For me, for the researcher, we think that there's no issue between the working experience and the working experience.
Okay. And in exploring burnout, now you have examined socioeconomic profile and work experience, much more. So what is the next level of research?
Maybe for the next level of research, we can involve into the dimension of burnout, which consists of personal burnout, work environment burnout, and also patient-related burnout.
Okay, because I'm aware that in terms of multidisciplinary design, multidisciplinary research, now you have burnout being examined in relation to the built environment or the work environment and all that. So I hope that sometime soon you're going to collaborate with people in architecture and the built environment faculty so you can explore burnout in relation to the built environment.
Thank you very much, Professor.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or contributions for them on this research? All right, if there's none, thank you for that presentation. We wish you all the best as you move ahead with this collaboration. All right, thank you. So we take the next presentation. The next presentation is, it may actually be the last presentation for this session. Is WE001, which is on retention at the bank, Mamalat, Malaysia, in the sales department. Is WE001. And we have Dr. Nurita Mohammed ready to present. Staff retention. Yes. Please, can you examine the sound system there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, Prof, the laptop for the participants laptop, we cannot unmute the microphone is because or else there will be interference with the speakers. There will be a loud interference and also a lot of annoying echo. So,
all right, no problem. Let the presentation continue.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, good morning, Prof. Babatunde. My name is Dr. Nurita binti Muhammad. I am presenting on behalf of my friends, my other 4 friends, that are also an international authors here today, but I'm only presenting until the end of the session. Okay, my topic is staff retention, Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad sales team. Okay, as for in the current era of global financial and banking are facing ever-growing challenges regarding retention, customer satisfaction, and also belief of their employees due to the competitive market in giving better service to the customers. Employees is an enormous asset and play an important role in meeting the company performance, in meeting the company vision. And organization performance depends on their best employees' performance. So this study is about investigating the retention of employees at Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad with a sample of 133. Okay. So the aims and the objective of this study is to assess 4 factors, that is flexible working arrangement. Number 2, training and development. Number 3, compensations and benefits. And the last one is job organization fit towards influencing the retention of the employees. Okay, as for the literature review, when we talk about employee retention means that it is inspiring employees to remain for a long-term period over time where they remain in the organization for maximum period of time. So according to the literature, the success of a company are the retention and contentment of its employees and work productivity inside the organization is a significant component in determining these factors. When we talk about flexible working arrangement, this is about a perspective of employees having a strong preferences for having work norms and procedures that are flexible and becoming increasingly prevalent in the modern firms, according to Smith and Lawson. And what I mean by flexible working arrangement is like selecting between full-time and part-time employment, overtime, online or offline work, weekend work, hourly work, and contract work. Also include work, weekend job, and also roster versus shift work are all examples of flexible working arrangement. And the third one is training and development. This is also a fundamental structures associated in fulfilling the organization, including development and training by GADI 2020. And the aims, this is compensation and benefits. And compensation and benefits compensation refers to the compensate organization to its employees, including wage, benefits, and anything else. And job and organization fits includes motivational factors, increase the levels of engagement and attentiveness, and also the employees' employees' retention, that is preserving and expanding the human capital. And the methodology that we use for this study is that we have a targeted population of 133 of the current population of Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad in Kelantan. 100 respondents were selected for this study. Yeah? And these are some of the measurements that we use from the previous researcher, taking from Rombak Lowry 2020, Damfat ETL 2019, and also Kurt Lowry ETL 2020. And as for the findings, we have found that 46.3% of the variants cover for this topic retention of this study is able to be explained by this employee retention. And it shows that flexible working arrangement is the most significant contribution, which the significance is less than 0.01 of value. And as for the discussion, the correlations between flexible working arrangement and also retention of sales staff, according to the findings that is investigated in the sales teams of Bank Muamalat Malaysia, is consistent with the findings of the previous study carried out by Austin Augerly and also Vironama and Notori 2020. And this study reveals that flexible working arrangement has a positive effect on employee retention across a wide range of industries and also organizations. And as a conclusion, this study has significant repercussions to the Bank of Muamalat Malaysia Berhad and its sales staff, that is their employees, and to efficiently retain its sales specialists. Bank Muamalat Berhad should continue to offer a variety of flexible working options, such as working from home or alternating between different hours. And more training and professional development opportunities should be made also available to the sales teams of Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad. That's all from me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for that presentation. It looks like you actually rushed yourself as fast as possible. Okay. Yeah, are there questions for her or contributions? I have a fast one. Why did you choose 100 out of the 131 staff? And how did you choose them?
Okay, this is purposive sampling where we focus on bank muamalat and we have a data collected collected from the bank because one of the authors there are working in bank muamalat Malaysia.
Okay, did you consider how long the workers have been in the bank working?
Usually, if people are working in the banks, they are very comfortable and they will not want to go to other banks. But again, we cannot foresee if there is any people who want to get out from the bank. So,
yeah, I think how long they've been working in the bank may be a factor that can affect. I mean, it will even show that they've been retained for a long time. So people that have been there for quite a while are the ones that are perhaps in the best position to be respondents. All right. Thank you. So what's the next step in your research?
what is the next step? So again, this is providing the bank muamalat real solution, and we are helping the bank muamalat to make sure that they have the right strategies for their bank.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. Are there any other questions, contributions, or any general comments on this session? All right. If there's none, I'll say thank you to all our participants in this breakout session of this conference. We appreciate you for contributing and for attendance. We look forward to seeing you the next time with the next level in your research.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. I hand over to
thank you to our final presenter for today. And also, thank you so much, Professor Babatunde, for chairing this breakout session.
thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. And see you maybe in UK or working in Sarawak.
All right. Thank you. All right.
So, once again, thank you so much. And have a good breakfast, lunch, dinner, tea time.
Okay.